Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to FRT Podcast, the Family RoundTable. I'm so excited. We're so excited to have you here.
Absolutely excited.
My name is Bologi Stephen.
And my name is Peter.
And he's my husband. Yes. Okay, so to start us up on today's conversation,
we have a very interesting conversation indeed to have today. And I'll begin with a question. Yeah. Were you afraid about your parents accepting me as your husband when you were bringing me to them?
And they're going to watch it too. Okay, honestly, I wasn't afraid.
Okay.
I know my parents. My dad is more easygoing. He has the sanguinish side. My mom is a bit tougher. So, and she had a preference of where she wanted us to marry from.
Okay.
But I also knew it wasn't a hard no. So her preference in terms of place, where she wanted us to marry from, it was a preference, but it was not a hard no.
Okay.
Because I'd seen her losing up to people from other places.
Okay.
In my life experience. So maybe worried or afraid is not the word.
What would be the word?
It was just maybe
concern.
Cautious. I don't know. But then again, they wanted me to marry, so.
So you took advantage of that.
It was not taking advantage. Either way, I mean, my dad had sat me down and asked me, is there somebody in your life in the middle of the night one day? When your father asks you that question, you know it's real. So anyways, yeah, I think it was not fear or concern, but I was aware of their personalities.
And what preferences they would.
What about you? Were you?
I wasn't afraid. Let me say that you were the first person anyway that I introduced to my parents because
first and last.
Because I felt and I knew that you were the one that I was choosing to be my wife. So I'd prompted them or I'd hinted them, hey, I'll be coming to introduce somebody to you.
Why are you blushing? Oh my God.
No.
Swift me.
So I remember when I brought you and all of that, and the way my mom embraced you, I was now too sad about it. I'm like, no drama.
That's you were sad. That's a strong
word. Not sad, but I was like, no drama, nothing.
What drama did you want?
You just saw someone for the first time, and you embraced her with all of your heart.
Some have food but cannot eat. You don't know what you have, my dear.
Yeah, but I wasn't afraid. I wasn't concerned. I think they trusted that this guy has not brought anybody. We've not necessarily seen him serious with anybody. So if he's coming with somebody, the guy would have done his homework. So we'll have less work to do.
Okay. That's fair enough. So at least there was no... I mean, we had a little... It wasn't like drama. We had a few, pushbacks here and there on certain things.
Yeah.
Not really the choice.
Absolutely.
I do remember that my mom sat me down one time and she was just bringing up our differences in personality.
That's me and you differences?
Yes.
Okay.
So not in terms of don't marry this person, but have you thought about this and how you will handle this, right? Are you happy about your choice? Are you excited about your choice? So I remember we did have that conversation, but it was never a case of, don't marry him. So our top, what are we talking about?
So our topic is, should parents still be involved in the choice of your spouse? Before
you go further, let us know what you think in the comments. Yes or no? Should parents be involved in the choice of your spouse? Yes or no?
Yeah, and if you are new, this is your first time, please ensure you like and you follow the page immediately. All right. So let's continue with the conversation now. So it's interesting to hear both perspectives that our parents were not necessarily opposed to our choices. But do we still have instances where parents insist that this is who you should choose or who you should not choose?
Absolutely. I know we know some cases, we've heard of some resistance. We've counseled a couple of people on the same issue of, I have this and I don't have this, and my parents are insisting for whatever reasons. I have friends that have gone through it. Some were resolved, some went ahead without it. So yeah, it's still very much a thing, and I think that's what makes our conversation important, because let's now talk about, should parents really be involved? And if they should, how involved should they be? And then we can now maybe wrap it up with, just a word of advice to people that are single, that are either in the situation or are not yet in the situation, to prevent them from being in the situation. So how involved do you think parents should be?
It's very important because, like you already said at the beginning, parents are involved. There's nothing... I don't think it's a new gist. It just depends on how involved they could be, depending on the culture and where you are. It could span from very subtle involvement, from the child just telling them we are getting married tomorrow.
Like literally,
we got married. We have gotten married, that kind of thing, to people mildly involved, to the ones where they are even selecting the spouses for you, where there's heavy involvement, and or to just a mix or a balance of the involvement. And what we believe is that parents should still be involved in that choice. This is because our parents have been part of our lives. They gave birth to us. They were involved in our growing up. They were involved in our training to some extent. They've been involved in our lives, and I don't think when it's a very important decision like marriage, they should now hands off. I think there should be some level of involvement in that decision, as much as it is me who will most likely stay with most of the decision and the result of my decision. My parents' input is very valid. My parents' input is important. I think God also expects that our parents be part of it. Even though Bible said, leave your father and mother, it didn't say cut them away and make the decision. It says this is the principle of how marriage works. You will leave where you're coming from and start something new. But I generally believe that they should still be involved. And I think the boundary of their involvement should be, number one, sensibility. Be involved too. I don't think, for instance, if my child says they don't want to eat a particular food, I insist that they have to finish eating it. I think there should be some moderation into checking, why doesn't this child even want to eat anymore? Is there something I can pacify the child to understand? So you begin to have conversations, you begin to have negotiations, just like what your mom did. Sat down and say, okay, this is your choice, but have you considered this? Have you considered this? Have you considered this? Because our parents have on their hand time, they have wisdom, they have experience. They've seen a number of things that we are yet to see. So they are coming from that lens and that perspective to say, hey, based on what I know, what I've heard. They also have friends. They know the experiences. Based on this and this and these factors, have you considered these factors? So number one, like I said, sensibility. You also need to bring in respect. Parents should also bring respect that their children are now grown people. They are no longer the babies that they had. Their children, that baby is now an adult. At least maybe that child is 18 years old. At least. So depending on how old the child is, you know how much involvement you are going to throw in. You know how much the kind of conversations you want to also have, the kind of influence you want to exert. The influence you'll be exerting on an 18-year-old is not the same influence you'll be exerting on a 25-year-old. The influences will definitely be different. So, and then know your child as well. Your child will most likely want you to either lean more or don't lean as much. Understand your child and know what they want. What do you think?
So I definitely think that parents should be involved, right? Because, I believe that our parents should ideally be even our first mentors. So
absolutely.
Making life decisions should have them. And as much as we carry almost 100% of the marriage, like what will happen to you in marriage, we cannot deny that our parents are also involved in the implications of our choice.
Absolutely. Very involved.
Let's not lie. Let's not play. If it goes well in your marriage, it goes well for them because they have peace knowing that their children are fine. Their children are, at least that's one burden of them.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go well, they also carry that weight.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes we forget that part in our desire. And we know that, by the way, disclaimer, we know that there are some extreme cases in the size of the parents, in the size of the children. We know that it's not a one-size-fits-all situation for everybody. You will get wisdom tips from this, but many people that are in the situation may still need to sit with a counselor for a bespoke, tailored wisdom and counsel for your own situation, because reasons differ. You hear so many reasons. We also acknowledge as believers that there are people that their own parents are not believers, and as much as we want to say that everybody's parents want the best for them, we know that there are those really extreme, minor exceptions.
Yes.
All that aside, when a marriage goes bad, or if a marriage goes bad, the parents are affected.
Yeah.
So in many cases, when there are reservations, it's out of concern for the child.
Yeah.
At the very least, it is part of honor to involve them. To say, this is who I want to marry, to listen at least, even if you won't take the advice, to at least listen. Okay, you are opposed. Why? What is your issue? Then if they now tell you, and it's, I don't know, it's if I'm like going here and there, but to speak to some young people that don't have a track record of decision making. You have never made one good decision in your life. All your decisions are questionable. Excuse me, like my ES in secondary school used to say, excuse me, you cannot now question them when they question you, when you have left behind you a trail of bad decisions. So,
and like you said, that this is because of that, sorry to cut you there, because of the trail of bad decisions you've made, they're afraid of the consequences that will come back to them.
Yes, because they are also, because you are affected, they don't want you to be affected, but then also they are affected.
They will also be affected,
they, at the very least, they are sad. At the very least, they have one more prayer request. At the very least, they are concerned and worried. And for some parents have lost their children to bad marriages. So I think that sometimes we can be very dismissive, and we can be very insensitive to the effect that our marriages have, whether good or bad, on our parents. I know that my mom, she was speaking to somebody about marriage and choice, and she was telling the person, admittedly, she wanted her children to marry from our own place and all, but my daughter brought a Southern Kaduna man, and
peace to all Southern. If you want peace, marry Southern Kaduna man. I'm not saying that generally, Sha. Please.
But she was like, even though at first she wanted her own place, she has never had an issue, and I know the peace it gives them to know that in all of life's issues, their daughter's welfare in marriage is not one of
the things they should be concerned about.
It's like, you guys are good, right? I know you're good, but like, you're good. Okay, great. So I think we should bear that in mind in just giving them grace when a parent is concerned, or
that's very, very important. Very important.
But should they have a higher weight in the choice than you? So what if you want it and they don't want it? Which is where if they both want it, there's no issue. What if you want somebody, your parents don't want somebody, or your parents want somebody and you don't want the person? Who should carry more weight?
I'm going to be speaking both experientially and biblically.
Okay. Okay. Are you about to spill something? I don't know. Which experience?
So when I say experientially, I'm just looking at general wisdom. I think, like we've always said, number one, the decision is yours to make. It's your life. It's your. Even when the Bible said you will leave your father and mother, it didn't say they will send you away.
Yeah.
It is not written in scripture that your father and mother would send you to your matrimonial home. No, it says you will leave them. So the decision lies on you as the person making the choice. It's not liberty to choose anything. It's weight of responsibility to continue what is great. That is what that decision is. It is not liberty to, I can choose whoever, I can live my life. No, it's a very weighty decision to make. Because when God established the marriage, he wanted a continuity of the kind of things he has sown in the beginning. You know, he wants to raise godly children. He wants to raise great families and transform societies. And so he's saying, you will leave your father and mother and create a new mood and create a new unit so that I can continue what I started off. It is not so that you live your life. You live whatever you want to do and do whatever. So the weight of that decision lies more with you. What parents do is to guide and support you. That is what parents do. And if you go back to the Bible, when God created Eve and brought her to Adam, the Bible says he brought her, just like he was doing with the animals, he brought the animals to see whatever Adam was going to name them. And whatever he named them, that was their name. God did not change it because he has done something. You mentioned something about our parents being our first mentors. And usually they say the success of a leader is not just in the person that takes over from you, it's in the third generation. So you want to see how successful, and that's why our parents are concerned about the people we choose. They want to ensure that I didn't fail before God and before you and before myself. Because there are three witnesses. Even myself, I want to be proud that I helped you make the choice. You made a choice under me that was good. You know, so our parents, God was the mentor of Adam, and he had done some work with Adam already. He had instructed him, he had guided him, and this was the time to prove whether Adam was listening or not. Adam was getting what he was doing, you know, and he passed with the animals, and he brought Eve. God did not say, see wife for you. He brought Eve to him, and he woke him up. And Adam recognized that this one is my wife. And he named her. God never named Eve. It was Adam that named her.
So even when Adam, that means even Adam that said the wife you gave, the woman you gave me.
Exactly. God just look at it.
I will not argue with you.
God, there was no conversation there.
And my daughter was just walking on her own.
Exactly.
So I became a spoken word artist.
You know, so we see that Adam made the choice, not God making the choice. God helped facilitate, orchestrated the bringing of the wife. Adam made the choice. And Eve agreed.
Fair enough.
Eve agreed and said, let's continue, you know. The same thing happened when we look at Abraham, Isaac. For Isaac, Abraham told the servant, this is the kind of wife I want for my husband, for my son, because there's a continuity that must happen. Abraham knew he was not going to last forever, and he needed that his son Isaac continues in the line and the direction that God was leading him. He was concerned about spiritual alignment. He was concerned about values. He didn't mention anything whether she should be 3 feet, she should be fair, she should be tall, she should be slim. No, he said, don't choose from this place where we are. He said, go for the core matter. And it was not even Abraham that went to choose. This is how deep the decision. That means last, is Isaac that will still accept this thing. No? And the Bible said that when the servant came with Isaac, Isaac saw her from afar. Let's not go into that afar. Let's leave it like that. But he accepted her. He saw her and he received her. He asked, who was that woman? He said, that is your... Okay. Even she was wondering, who is that young man?
That guy.
And you could see that both decisions laid in both Isaac and Rebecca. So our parents should not high-handedly choose spouses. They should work with us in choosing spouses for ourselves. But the weight It's
at
on
the
you.
end of the day, it's on
It's on you.
And I think just using Abraham's example, you can see that his reason for excluding certain people was, I mean, in that time it was my people, but in our own context is equal yoking.
Yeah.
From believers, So I don't think that parents should come up with reasons or parents should not come up with reasons that are not weighty in the sense of it as believers. As believers, it's scripture over culture.
Yeah, scripture over culture.
Yes, some people from some side are a certain way. Have you investigated this person and the faith of this person and the character of this person? Or are you just basing it on generalization? Because if it's based on generalization, nobody should also marry you and your own child, because you people also have bad behavior from wherever you are from.
Yeah.
True. Every side has its own. When I heard the one that they say about Basa people. Oh,
what they say, please, I'm interested in hearing. Are you guys not interested in hearing?
We are so minority that I didn't think we had anything.
People are the priests of the world.
One guy told his friend that was liking me, and then the person asked where I was from and say, Basange. And then the person was like, those people, those Basa girls, they used to steal people's virtue.
Jesus Christ, steal virtue. That was deep.
I was just like, what? Which is rubbish, by the way, because virtue has been added, not taken. But my point is,
there's always a story out there.
There's always something. If you want to find, like, Basange people were so minority in a sense, right? That in fact, most people is like, I've never heard of your tribe, I've never heard your name. But somewhere else, there is a whole narrative. How many Basa girls does this person know? So, like, we cannot disqualify based on this or status or tribe, height, complexion, things that don't matter.
Yeah.
So if, as we wrap up, just a brief word to somebody that might be going through, you and your parents don't agree, the weight is on you. Yes, how do you go about it? I would say, first of all, we've talked about the track record of decisions.
Very
so if you
important.
are not even yet in that place, you don't have somebody yet, you have not brought anybody yet, great, you are at advantage. You need to start building your track record. Have there been decisions that your parents could trust you in? My husband said, this is the first person he was bringing to his parents. Doesn't mean that if it's not the first person, you cannot still.
Yeah.
But apart from he was able to tell them, he's really serious. Okay. But then in your life, have you made good decisions? In my life, before I brought my husband to my parents, I had made certain decisions career-wise, in terms of my studies, in terms of even my faith. I had gotten to a point of maturity where, and thankfully my parents are not also the, overbearing kinds of parents, even in the way I was living while single. There were things I could do as a single person in and from their home that I recognized that there were people that could not do it. Mm-hmm. So putting that privilege on the table, there were also there was a track record of going out and securing jobs, doing what I needed to do, putting in the work. And then there were certain decisions also that I carried them along in my logic.
Which is what I wanted to just add.
Some of them, they just see it. But there was a particular career and financial decision. And I remember I was a copper then. So I was like, 22, 23. And I had made the decision, but I went to them and I'm like, so this is what I have. This is where it has come from. This is what I want to do. This is why I want to do what I want to do. And it wasn't something there weren't holes in it. I had thought this through, So when you have that track record, not of perfection, because I still had decisions that I made mistakes in, but they can see that this person has a good track record to an extent, then it's easier to trust you. That's one. So a track record of good decisions. Number two, have the conversation with them, listen to them, give them an ear. Even if you don't agree with them, engage them in a conversation. If God could say, come, let us reason together, how much more your parents? Give them that honor and that respect to just even say, okay, you say this thing, why do you say it? Let me hear you. And then if it's something, you also know your parents, so you know how to deal. I know my parents, I know how to deal. You know your parents, you know how to deal. Some people, I acknowledge, cannot have a conversation with their parents. You might need to bring somebody else to have that conversation
on your behalf
with them. But if you can, start by being the one. You should be mature. If you're mature enough to go into marriage, you should be mature enough to have that conversation
with them.
You know, to a good extent. And listen to them and hear them out. Offer your own side, whether or not they will listen. In a respectful, intelligent manner. Put emotions aside and let's treat this thing like if you have your convictions as well, which you should, share your convictions with them, especially if you are both of the same faith. Share your convictions with them. Again, track record. Have you had convictions before? Have you heard God before? You know? And then if all of these things fail, like they would always say, which I agree with, is there somebody they listen to that you can bring into the conversation to speak to them? An older sibling, a grandparent, a spiritual leader that agrees with you and can speak to them, you know, or at least bring them to a point of compromise, healthy compromise, and pray. That all else, pray.
Yeah, definitely. You should prayerfully do all of these things. There's no we cannot overemphasize the need for prayers. It is central to this decision. It is central because you want to be sure that you're also not moving based on emotions only, because honestly our parents are also side posts or side rails for us not to fall off. So sometimes we may not be seeing some of the things that they are saying, and it's also important to also mellow down sometimes and just listen to what they are saying. Just like you've said, pay attention to what they are saying. They are not senseless. They are your parents. So honor that and give them that ear and listen to them. And I will also add that give it some time, especially for those that have brick walls where there's that back and forth. Give it some time. You know, don't let it not be like, oh, if you don't marry now, you're not going to marry again. No, give it some time. Not like forever time. Just give it some time. Pray over it. Pray out for their hearts. Think about think about the whole thing. Trust God to put something in their heart, put something in your heart that will help ease the decision, because things can go around and come back differently. You know, for instance, I remember for one of my elder brothers, when he brought his wife, it took some time before they got married, you know, because at the first instance there was resistance. You know, for me it was different. For him it was different somehow. You know, there was resistance, but he still married to the same person because after a while they were married, and my dad loved this girl because the resistance came more from my dad, not even from my mom. My mom loved loved her, you know. But at some point later on, there was a change, you know. So give it some time. Things can change. Not everything must happen in the now. Sometimes circumstances, some things also would have affected them thinking that way. But yeah, I think those are some things to think about. I think
the final thing I would say, in the extreme cases, and we acknowledge that there are where you have to go ahead without their consent, it's not a decision to make lightly.
Yeah.
It's a decision that has consequence. You must sit down, understand the consequence, understand your reason, understand that their reason is not God-based, if I can put it that way. There is a lot of weight before making that decision. But what I would tell you, if you have decided that this is the way you want to go, make sure you are not going alone.
Yeah.
If your parents are not going with you, your church community should be with you.
Yeah.
Your
Very
spiritual
important.
leaders should be with you. Mentors people that can actually stand with you. You don't go into marriage alone as much as you go into marriage alone. Seller. Let you ask, yes. Just make sure that if you are going to make that extreme decision
of going
because
ahead
you have
without,
to, and we understand that there are people that have to, you are not alone in that decision. You cannot be the only one with conviction.
There must be a witness.
Unless
there must be witnesses
everybody
of 2
in
or
your
3
life does not hear God
and don't have sense. I like to add that.
Which should not be, because you cannot be
the only
person that hears God in your whole life.
No, that
so
means
there should be you cannot go alone. Let's not belabor the point. Basically. I think that's it. Let's not belabor the point, because at the end of the day, what your parents have given you, the upbringing, the background, everything is going to influence how you show up in your home.
Yeah.
And the home you create is going to influence your children, which brings us to our next topic. In our next video, we're going to be talking about the influence from our own families of origin in our own home now. And it's a conversation you really want to be a part of. So I'm sure you enjoyed this conversation.
Yes. In and in, through and through. I enjoyed it, and I hope you did too.
Yes, I did. So don't forget to like this video, to subscribe to this channel, share with somebody, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.